Good afternoon and welcome to another afternoon Money Making Mom Scope. This afternoon we're going to talk about all things social media, including Pinterest and Periscope and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I'm going to share some of the best practices that I've discovered that are working really well for me right now and what's not working. So if you are a blogger, you are a business owner, you are someone who just loves social media, you'll want to tune in. Alrighty, welcome. I hope you're having a good day. Get situated here. Trying to do something different with my light in the afternoon to see if it's any better because we've been having light issues. Okay, so for those of you who are new, my name is Crystal Payne and I am the founder of MoneySavingMom.com, and I have been blogging for 10 years and doing a lot with social media for the last, I would say, 5 or 6 years. And I am fascinated with social media and with the part that it plays in blogging success as well as any type of online business success. And I spend hours of every month trying different things, experimenting, watching what works, learning and implementing it, and then tweaking as I go along because I just love it, and also because social media is the #1 traffic driver to our site. I shared about Facebook earlier this week and talked about how Facebook is the #1 traffic driver to our site. But the other social media networks play a big role in the success of our site. Oh, you received your new book yesterday and you're on chapter 2. Thank you so much. So for those of you who are new, my book, Money Making Mom, just came out yesterday. It's available on Amazon. And if you go to MoneyMakingMomBook.com, you can sign up for my free 5-day course on how I make a full-time income from home, and you can read more about my new book. Okay, so we're going to go through the different social media networks. We're going to do it pretty quickly, and we're going to kind of hit them, best practices, and then at the end, if we have time, we'll do some Q&A. So first off, let's talk about Twitter. So many people ask me about Twitter and say, is Twitter worth being on? Yes, I think that Twitter is definitely worth being a part of. Here's the deal. I have made so many great friendships and relationships through Twitter. Twitter is a great networking tool. In fact, Amy from Amy's Finer Things, or the finerthingsinlife.com, who works for me, who has been working for me for years, I met her on Twitter. Some of my great connections with other authors and speakers have come through Twitter. And here's the thing that I found about Twitter. Most authors and speakers and kind of celebrities, they are actually on their Twitter, where many of them are not doing their Facebook. They're not doing their email newsletter. They might not be doing their blog or their site or whatever. They are the ones who are running their Twitter most of the time. So if you reach out to them through Twitter, you can oftentimes get a personal reply back and make a connection there. Twitter is where we get the fewest click-throughs though. I do not see Twitter as something that is bringing in a lot of traffic. However, I do Twitter because it's so great for networking and because it reaches a different audience. People who are into kind of wanting to improve their life, intentional living, that sort of thing, they are more on Twitter. And the men and the leadership group seems to be more on Twitter than they would be on Pinterest and even on Instagram. So best practices for Twitter would be to use photos with your post. And if you don't know what I mean by that, let me show you an example on my Twitter. Here we go. Okay, so you can see how on this tweet, there's a photo uploaded. It makes it pop. Makes it pop compared to all the other tweets. So you just can click to upload a photo when you tweet out, and it will make your tweet pop. One of my friends, Victoria from Snail Pace Transformation, she said that she saw a significant increase in her click-throughs when she did this. So taking a little bit of extra time to do that can make a difference. Another thing that I have had good success with is scheduling quotes on Hootsuite. So when I was trying to kind of build up a following on Twitter and get people to be more engaged on Twitter, quotes seem to do well on Twitter. So you can actually just go to, some site that has great quotes, and you can schedule out quotes. You don't even have to put a picture with them. Just scheduling out quotes. I found that I had a lot more retweets and a lot more engagement by doing that when I was doing that consistently. Hashtags are the name of the game on Twitter. You want to use hashtags in your posts. Now, for us personally, we have all of our posts that go up on MoneySavingMom.com are auto-tweeted to Twitter. The only thing that I do on Twitter, you will notice that I do not, I'm on Twitter. Like I don't use TweetDeck. I actually go to Twitter and I just go to my notifications. That's what I do on Twitter. That might not be the smartest thing, but for me personally, because Twitter is not something that I'm going to put a lot of time and effort into, I just check in on Twitter a few times a day. I retweet stuff from other people, mostly stuff that is like on my site or somebody's mentioning me. I'll retweet it and answer any questions that people have. Number 2, Pinterest. Pinterest is our second highest traffic driver, next only to Facebook. It is the least social of all networks because people don't really get on Pinterest and respond. I mean, some people leave comments, but there's not the engagement level that there is on any other network. So it's not really a social network per se. It's more so a click-through network. If you know how to use Twitter well, you can see crazy numbers of traffic and click-through as a result of using Pinterest. Sorry, I said Twitter. Pinterest well. Using Pinterest well. By being very strategic on Pinterest, we have increased our unique visitors by 500,000 per month. And we've consistently done that. Honestly, in the last, I would say 8 months, I have done very little with Pinterest other than we just consistently keep the strategy going. I could probably increase that a lot more, but right now I'm not putting a lot of eggs into the Pinterest basket because it's just staying. But there's a ton of potential on Pinterest. Pinterest is great for DIYs, recipes, how-tos, and practical posts. Your posts need to be visually appealing because that is what Pinterest is all about. People on Pinterest are buyers also. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And best practices would be to, 1, find that your top 20 posts or even top 100 posts. We did our top 100 posts. We went to our Google Analytics and we found our top 100 posts on Pinterest, the ones that were clicked through the most on Pinterest, and we made sure to monetize those really well. So we added extra affiliate links in there. We added extra advertising in there because a lot of people were resharing it and clicking through. You need a vertical photo that pops. So we talked about Facebook and photos that pop. You want it to be visually appealing. Visual appeal is what Pinterest is all about. Your teaser text is also important. So make sure that you have something in your teaser text that's going to cause people to be intrigued and want to click through. And click-throughs are your most important thing. Reshares and repins, that doesn't do anything for you. I've seen so many posts where they will have tons of repins, but nobody's clicking through. So click-throughs are the most important thing. And engaging on group boards is also something that's been extremely helpful for us. If you would like more in-depth help on Pinterest, I would highly recommend Ruth Sukup's ebook called How to Blog for Profit Without Selling Your Soul. That is really what has helped me and helped me to put together our Pinterest strategy that we use. And by doing that strategy, we have seen significant increase in our unique visitors. Periscope. I did a whole scope on best practices for new scopers. So if you are new to Periscope and you did not see that show, be sure to go to catch.me/MoneySavingMom for all of my best practices and things that I've learned in the short time that I've been scoping. I do not consider myself to be some kind of scope expert or something. I'm just sharing what I've learned. So that's at catch.me/MoneySavingMom. Periscope is so good for building relationships. I was just on a call with my executive team and I was telling them the relationships that I'm building through Periscope have been amazing. I love it. So it's so great for building deep relationships. People get to see you live on camera and they get to hear your personality, see your face. They get to really know you well. So Periscope is great for that. It's great for nurturing deep relationships. If you're new to Periscope and you want some helpful advice on how to use it well, I highly recommend Chalene Johnson's site called scopeisdope.com. She has a free download on there. And one of the tips that I've learned from her is to always have a call to action. So you're always going to be leading people from your scope to your site or to sign up for an email newsletter or something. You need to have a call to action. Don't just get on a chit chat without a purpose and a call to action. So scopeisdope.com, and also Christy Clover's book, Christy from Raising Clover's The Scoop on Scope. It's a really good beginning manual if you want to know, how do I get started with Periscope? How does this work? And how can I be successful even if I have a very small platform? So that's The Scoop on Scope by Christy Clover. I think the best practices really quickly that I have learned are consistency, and you need to know what you're about. So who are you? Define who you are. So my morning motivation shows, I'm giving you that morning shot in the arm. You kind of know when you show up, you know what you're going to get. You don't know what I'm going to talk about, but you know I'm hopefully going to leave you with something that's going to encourage you and help you start your day well. My afternoon shows are about making money. They're about you building your platform so that you can make money ultimately. Not because I think that making money is the be all end all, but because I want to help you to earn an income so that you can come home and be home with your kids more, or so that you can use your skills and passions to be able to impact others, but ultimately so that you can earn money, so that you can invest that money back into your family, your community, and around the world. So together, collectively, we can make a difference. That's my heartbeat. So in the afternoon, that's what I'm about. I'm going to give you my best practices and tips and insider stuff that I've learned from 10 years of doing this and making so many mistakes. But so consistency and knowing what you're about. And then Instagram. I love Instagram. Instagram is my favorite social media platform of all of them. I love Periscope, and Periscope is quickly beating out Instagram, but I still love Instagram. Instagram is so great for that real life, deep relationships. I think that's what works best with Instagram. A couple of best practices that I have found is that use one photo instead of photo collages. I have tested this over and over and over again. I don't care how wonderful my photo collage is. I always get more engagement when there's one photo. And so I think of, how do I tell the story that I want to tell in the post that I want to share, the Instagram picture that I want to share? How do I tell that story with one photo? It's a good exercise in creativity, but also you're going to see so much more engagement by doing that. Videos are also not very effective. Be funny on Instagram. If you're funny, be funny. One of the things that's been most successful for me is I have this thing where it's called 5 things, my 5 things that you need to know about this picture. And then a lot of times it'll be quirky and funny and just real life stuff. People love that. Be yourself. Be yourself. Instagram is not the place to be all professional and polished and put together and like have everything perfect. Unless I guess that's what you want your platform to be. But I think that the real life stuff, that's what people are coming there. They want to see real life. And it could be beautiful pictures. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But be real. Be yourself. Don't pretend. Don't be a pretender on any social media, but especially on Instagram. Don't be a pretender. Use hashtags well. Hashtags work extremely well on Instagram. I try to always think of a few hashtags per photo, and I've gotten a lot of new followers from that. So what do you want to be about? What kind of market do you want to attract? And then make sure your photos and your hashtags are going to attract that kind of market. Do not sell very often on Instagram. I'm seeing more and more that Instagram's kind of, getting, it's like more professional and more like where everybody's sharing every single blog post that they do, and instead of the engagement level that is the beauty of Instagram. And I would say just don't sell very often. You can sell. I'm talking about my book this week because that's something that is part of my launch. And so I'm talking about my book, but doing it in a way that works on Instagram, sharing beautiful quotes, kind of sharing some behind the scenes, that sort of thing. But I'm not going to have every other post be something I'm trying to sell. And I also am not trying to have every other post be come click over and read my blog post or come click over and do this. A lot of it, I leave it just on Instagram because I want to just build that relationship on Instagram and nurture that relationship, because then when I do have something that I want to sell, people will respect it more because it's not a very common occurrence. So pictures that aren't salesy, just the real life stuff on Instagram. And then Facebook, I did a whole scope on Facebook because there's so much that I could say about Facebook. But Facebook has been the #1 traffic driver for us consistently for years. So I am a huge fan of Facebook, but I found that Facebook is more surfacey. So there are a lot of people, I think 768,000 people who are following me on Facebook. And I have found that many of them don't even have a clue who I am. They don't have a clue that I'm a blogger. They don't know anything. They just somehow clicked like on my page, and then every once in a while my stuff shows up in their feed. So it's a more surfacey relationship. However, it's really good for click-throughs. People on Facebook seem to be very good at clicking through. The same things that work on Pinterest work on Facebook as far as DIYs, recipes, how-tos, practical posts. However, other things work on Facebook that will not work on Pinterest. For instance, really heartfelt post will work on work on Facebook. So just, I think it was last week, I did a post that was about stop feeling guilty about being an introvert. It was based upon a scope that I did, but that one did so well on Facebook. And on Pinterest, that would have probably just been like, blah. I mean, it's just people wouldn't click through for that. But on Facebook, people click through and they engage. So those heartfelt posts on Facebook will do really well for me as well. I found that Pinterest people seem to be a little bit more buyers than Facebook, and the same thing with Instagram. Instagram people seem to be a little bit more apt to buy than Facebook does. But Facebook is still a very good traffic driver. If you want, I did a lot of Facebook tips, and a lot of people told me that there were Facebook tips that they'd never heard before. So if you would like to know what's working for me on Facebook, go to catch.me/MoneySavingMom, and my Facebook scope is there. I was also going to mention that if you are on the Money Making Mom email newsletter list, then you will also be getting an email tonight with my best practices, some best practices for Facebook all written out. So if you watch the scope but you'd love to have them written out, be sure to go to MoneyMakingMomBook.com, MoneyMakingMomBook.com, sign up for my free 5-day course on how I make a full-time income from home, and that automatically puts you on my weekly Money Making Mom email newsletter, where I'm going to be sharing tips and behind the scenes stuff and best practices. So if you like my scopes, you definitely want to sign up for that, because there's going to be a lot of links in there as well. So that's at catch.me/MoneySavingMom for the Facebook tips. So if anyone has any questions, I would love to know, what are your questions? What's working for you on social media? Is some of this, are you seeing the same thing, or is it not working for you? And also, what's your favorite social media platform? I would love to know what your favorite social media platform is, what you have found works well for your audience. Oh, you love Money Saving Mom and you didn't realize it was me. Yep, it's me. It's me. You only have time to focus on 1 to 2 social media as a newbie blogger. That is such a great question. Okay, so I talked about all of them, but I do not recommend that you start with all of them. I recommend that you pick one. So pick one that you think is going to be the best for your audience. So let's say that you're starting a blog that's going to be recipes. Guess which one you should start with. I would say either Pinterest or Facebook, and I would probably recommend Pinterest, because Pinterest is so visually appealing and recipes do so well. on Pinterest. So start with Pinterest, and then once you feel like, okay, I've figured out Pinterest, then you can add in Facebook. And so much of what we do is the same thing on all the social media platforms. We just have a little bit of a different way that we do it on each of them, so that it works best. So like for Pinterest, we use Viral Tag to do all of our scheduling. So we schedule out usually around 60 posts per day on Pinterest, which sounds like a lot, but we have a whole system where we do it, and we have a bunch of different boards that we're a part of, and so it works out really, really well. But we use Viral Tag and we schedule it out, and then we'll hand pin some posts too. Like if I find a post that I just love, I'll hand pin it to one of my boards. We hand pin all of our new posts every day, the deals, all of that. So that's what we do for Pinterest. So if you just were going to choose the one social media platform to start with, I would choose the one that's best for your specific audience, for your blog, or for your site. What are you wanting to do? Who are you wanting to reach? And then choose accordingly. So once you've gotten one, Tailwind is more efficient than Viral Tag. I'll have to check out Tailwind. We got in with Viral Tag way at the very beginning, and so we got locked into a really great rate. And we're so efficient at it, and it's just worked so well for us that it doesn't hardly take any time because of how they have it set up and how you can clone your post and do it really quickly. So we have this system, and so 60 posts, those posts are like only 5 to 6 of the post will actually be cloned per day on a bunch of different boards, so it doesn't take much time. How do you get your first followers when starting a blog? Such a great question. So when you start, it depends upon what you're starting, but I would say, first off, you start with the market that you already have. So do you know friends and family who might be interested in what you're doing? Reach out to them. Please don't haggle them. Please don't make them feel awkward. Don't do that. But you can let them know. Send out an email to every single person that you know that would be interested in it and say, hey, I'm starting this new blog. Just want to let you know. Another great thing that you can do is to start leaving comments on other bloggers' blogs. You can write guest posts for other bloggers' blogs who have the same or similar audience that are going to start, be attracted to what you're doing. Guest posts are a great way because they're free. Start engaging with other bloggers. Retweet other blogger stuff. I'll let you in on a secret. So if you want me to retweet your stuff, which seems to work really well for a lot of smaller bloggers, that they get some new followers on Twitter, just post on Twitter, share something that I have posted on my blog, and make sure you tag me on Twitter. And most of the time, I'm going to retweet that for you because I want to show you love and gratitude for the time that you took to post that. So if you find a guest post or a post on my site that you really loved, go post it on Twitter, say, I love this, da da da, and tag me, and I'll probably retweet it. So little things like that you can figure out how you can start networking with other bloggers to help them, you are just slowly building up your site. But here's the thing that I say, start with the little trickles. For me, it was those tiny little trickles. And I had to, go after the little trickles at first, because then those little trickles turned into a stream, that turned into a river, that turned into a rushing torrent. But had I stopped when I was getting discouraged because there was just trickle, 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 I would have never gotten to the raging torrent level. So you have to go after those little things at first when you're building. And so if it's 1 new person a day, if it's 2 new followers a day, that's okay. That's progress in the right direction. Focus on that and don't be discouraged because it feels like it's taking a long time to build up your site. So I'm going to stop there, but thanks so much for joining me today. And tomorrow I am actually going to Virginia. I'll be here for my normal 7:30 a.m. Central Time morning motivation show. But I'm going to Virginia tomorrow afternoon, so I'm skipping my afternoon show, and then I think I'm hopefully going to be able to do kind of an Ask Me Anything really fun laid back in my hotel room, Money Making Mom scope tomorrow night. is my plan. So if you have questions, if you want to chat about blogging, if you want to chat about anything related to making money, tomorrow night, I think it's going to be, let's see, what time did I say? I think it will be 8:30, is that right? 8:30, no, 8 o'clock Eastern, that's right. 8 o'clock Eastern is what I'm planning for tomorrow night. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today, and don't forget to go to MoneyMakingMomBook.com if you haven't signed up for our free 5-day course so that you can be on my new Money Making Mom email list, and I will talk to you later. Have a great afternoon.